Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you are having a great day. This is my review about Devil May Cry 3, and I want to start with the gameplay. The gameplay is of course fun and smooth like any other Devil May Cry I played, for example like Devil May Cry 5. It's also responsive with various moves you have. In this game they introduce a different moveset for Dante, like Royal Guard or Swordmaster, Gunmaster too. I probably said Gunmaster wrong, but if you know, you know. And one thing I kinda dislike about the about the gameplay is the fixed camera. But unlike Devil May Cry 2, this one does work well. So you don't have to wonder where the hell you're shooting or where the enemy is. It works fine in this game. And then I want to move over to the soundtrack, which is only straight up bangers and just great to listen to, especially if you have like a high ranking style. And of course it fits the game really well, and the tone of it and the vibe. And then quickly I want to move over to the combat. Combat is exciting with different styles, like I just said, like Royal Guard if you want to be, a bit safe and just get less damage if from enemy attacks. Or you can be more aggressive like me, just put on Swordmaster and just land as many punches as you can to the enemy and do more damage. And I also think you do a little bit of a special move, for example with the Rebellion. And yeah, you have your own style to play. Like I said, want to play more safe, pick Royal Guard. Want to play more aggressive, pick Swordmaster for example. And of course with combat you have the guns. And it's not a Devil May Cry game without the sexy and iconic guns that are of course ebony and ivory, which are handy. I personally have used them to slow down Virgil's healing in the boss fight when he's in Devil Trigger, because I can't really get too close when he's in Devil Trigger because he does great damage. And it also can be good to put use to keep your combos going or keep enemies in the sky basically. And now to the melee weapons. My personal favorites are Rebellion, with a very cool design and just overall strong and fun to use. Beowulf, even more powerful and great to use. It works really well against basically all enemies in my opinion. And of course you can't forget Agni and Rudra. The first, the first boss fight. No, second boss fight. And you get them as a sword, and they're just powerful with great damage. And as I'm blitzing through my review, I wanna talk now about the game's strongest point, where the game really shines and really makes it up for the last mistake, which was Devil May Cry 2. Devil May Cry 2. Holy hell. Anyway, it's the story. And it's a strong, interesting and great story about Dante and Virgil's origin and their long-lasting rivalry, where it basically all began. It's also where we meet Lady for the first time, aka Mary, and she is there to kill her father for murdering her mother. And later in the story you discover that her father is Arkham and that he wants the power of Sparta, and he needed like Dante and Virgil to open a portal to the demon world to get like Sparta's sword and get his power and kill Dante and Virgil, which of course he ultimately fails because Dante can only get killed by Virgil and Virgil can only be killed by Dante. But of course that did not happen, at least yet. Devil May Cry had a great ending, and hopefully there won't be another. Purely because the story ended with a good note, and it just ended like how it used to, like how it needs to. Anyway, I'm gonna sidetrack. And yeah, Also like the beginning where Virgil just stands there and just lets a big ass tower rise up from the ground, like huge ass tower. So basically he's our farming, you know, and showing that he's a powerful character that you don't really want to mess with. Anyway, um, it's also the best version of Dante Virgil in my opinion, because it shows a lot of great depth about the character and the story and design. Of course it's the main focus of this game, like the rivalry between Dante and Virgil, but also a bit of Mary. And talking about Arkham, he's a good villain, also unique, but his final form during the end of the game is a bit of a letdown in my opinion. Like, it's not as scary or challenging as I thought the first time. Before I move on to the story, well, at least further into well, what happens, I also like the boss fights against Virgil. First one is of course, well, a bit of challenging. I was stuck at the second time I was fighting Virgil for quite a bit, so he was no joke. I needed quite a bit of tries, but it felt rewarding and good to finally beat him. Third time went more smoothly, because I knew his moveset and what to do and to be less aggressive. But yeah, all in all, they're just great fights, and I really don't mind fighting him like 3 times in this game, because I enjoy it, and who doesn't? Anyway, to continue, it's also cool to see Virgil and Dante fighting together against Arkham in the end of the game. At the end of the game, I mean, where they say Jackpot together. Of course, the iconic line, you cannot miss it. It's great, and I got the well, chicken skin when they said it together. It's such a great moment. And of course, the iconic intro that sets the game's tone and feel. Now I would like to say something more about the game. What I like more is that the game is challenging compared to like 4 and 5, because that's how they coded the game, for at least the West. But it's challenging and it's fun. It's rewarding to finally beat the game, at least in my opinion. And what I like more about the game is of course the character design. Iconic and great looking, especially Virgil with his iconic looking blue trench coat. I rather have his blue trench coat than his black. No, in Devil May Cry 5. I think it looks better on him, but that's just my opinion. And the third one is the design and atmosphere and tone of the game. The feel, you know, it feels dark, gritty, and all serious, but with Dante lighting it up with his charisma and, you know, jokes. And you can also see the game's aging, the graphics, but still looks great, and the powerful story that it just makes it up for, you know, how the story, well, compared to the graphics. But hey, you know, for a game that came out in 2005, it still looks great. So I can't complain. However, there are some downsides. My personal ones are the spiders and the angel enemy types, because they are just so annoying, especially the angels. You can't even like do combos on them. At least I can't, because all they do is just hide in the walls and stuff, and they take quite a bit to kill. And secondly, I know for some, maybe even a lot of beginners, some levels are just confusing. I had to watch a YouTube video on how to progress in some levels, because the game doesn't really tell where you should go. But, you know, it's alright. And with that, I kind of speedran through my review. I know I'm a fast talker, or I just haven't written down a lot. But all in all, this game is great, and the story is just the best of all the Devil May Cry games. I think most of us can agree. If you want to play this game, I would definitely recommend it, because it's just a blast to play through, and this is just a great experience. And with that, I wish all of you a great day, and till the next one.